Welcome everybody to the JJ and Pug Show. It is April 30th. Shoot. Last day of April 2025. We are recording from the Highland Communities Podcast Studio.
We're in May.
Dude, yeah. It's gonna be May.
Yes, finally. Oh, I'm so excited.
So I gotta do this one more time because last time when I did this, my camera completely freaked out. So I specifically edited the camera to make sure it would stick on me with this one. So the new shirts. Okay, here we go. See it right here. I want to put it right in front of me. Freaking cool, right? It's even better.
Yeah.
On the back.
Super nice material, dry wicking.
Perfect. And, you know, American flag. Listen, we are patriotic on the show.
Yes,
you all should know. So that was the blue one. By the way, I'm showing everybody the shirts for those of you who do not watch us on YouTube, which you should. Spike our views. And then here is the gray. I personally think the gray is the best one. I mean, look at that. The way the cactus pops on that thing, dude. It's freaking awesome.
It looks great. I love the cactus. The cactus just busts right out.
That's out of the way. And this is one that everybody loves. I'm waiting for you to have a reaction here.
Oh, I'm waiting too. And initially I thought it was going to be Limp Bizkit, but it's not.
No. This is Linkin Park. The song Bleed It Out.
I don't know if I've heard it.
Oh, you had to have heard this song.
Oh, yeah. I'm bleeding it out.
Exactly. Yeah. Dude, Linkin Park to me is one of those bands.
Iconic?
Iconic is absolutely the way I would describe it. I would also say, like, underrated in some way.
Yeah, Chester. What was his last name?
I can't remember his last name. Yeah, Chester.
Isn't he a native Arizona kid?
Yeah, he lived in Gilbert. Lived in that White Wing off of Pecos and Higley area.
Yeah.
Super sad. Anytime you hear about something like that,
well, he was kind of tied to that weird like conspiracy or something, right? Like with the whole like, yeah, there's something in his death was like not a conspiracy, but like he was tied to some kind of like it was like he was. I want to say it was like an outcry for some to recognize something.
Oh wow!
And my mind tells me it had to do with like child sex trafficking or child abuse of some sort that he may or may not have experienced. But I can't remember. Right? And I may be way off. It may not be him, but I feel like that was him.
I did not know.
I don't know. That is a complete needs to be a fact check for sure because I know that happened and I want to say it was around him because it had something to do with the way he committed suicide.
All I know is
when he committed suicide.
He had a lot of kids. That much I know. He had a lot of kids, and it was like one of those things when I heard him, like, dude, how could somebody? This isn't the exact same time, but I felt the same way about it. My all-time favorite actor is Robin Williams.
Oh,
I think that guy is like
phenomenal
in every role he ever did. Whether you liked the movie or not, that guy embodied it, right? To like a perfect degree. And when I heard out that he committed suicide, his was for different reasons. He had what's called Lewy body dementia or Alzheimer's. So basically his brain was fighting against himself, which I think is probably true of anybody that commits suicide, right? There's some aspect of that where your brain's not working right. Like you're unable to think things clearly through. But it has to be to some way because it's just so unnatural to want to
do you not know? I know. I can't like, you know, I know people who work in the medical field, you know, like my wife does, and she works in surgery, right? And she'll work in where people come in and they've got to put back together people that have attempted suicide by knife, by cutting, by whatever, right? And I mean, and the people that miss and still live, like people come in and their necks are cut below the carotid or around the carotid, but they've got these gaps. You're like, that is committed.
Yeah.
Like, how are you that, like, not to do it once, but twice? Or like the wrist, right? The hesitation marks, there's always like extra, right? You don't just have one real clean cut because you're trying to hesitate, but it's like, how do you commit to that?
Like, dude, just the thought of it makes
and that way you're going to like be in so much pain, bleeding out. Like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, the easiest way to do it, there's easy ways to do it. That seems like a hard way.
That's what I mean. Like all of it seems like there's something that's not firing right. The best way I can put it is you're not playing the full deck of cards. That's the way I always put it. Like, you can be 51 cards short of a 52 card deck, and that one card is pretty important.
And suicide is one of those things that, like, as much as you're relieving your pain, I think
you just add
it's a selfish thing to do.
Yeah,
because you have now affected everybody. Because now, regardless of what you do or how you do it, it's what could we have done to save him? What did we miss? Why did we not see it? Or what was said? Was it me that said something? I think it brings on a whole bunch of guilt, and that sucks, man. That's a rough thing, man. And luckily I don't know anybody personally that's done it. I've never been directly affected, but it's just sad. Like, I don't know. Suicide's hard for me to wrap my mind around because I feel like in today's world, you can literally pack up a backpack, get on a one-way ticket plane, land somewhere in America, right? It can be anywhere, remote city America or metropolitan, and start over. Like, you really can figure out a whole way, right? You can change your name over. You can do all that before you leave, change your name without anybody really knowing besides you, right?
Yeah.
You can then get on a plane. I would go somewhere foreign too. Like, why not? You have a passport. Cool. Get on a plane, head to, I don't know, Tahiti,
Costa Rica, baby.
Costa Rica, whatever you're into, the Philippines, right? And just figure it out. Yes, it's going to be tough, but if you go with a little bit of money to some of these less fortunate countries, you can get by for a little bit, and you live on just okay. And then you start to learn trades, or you start just picking up stuff, and you start with a hut by the beach or whatever, but you don't have to lose your life over it, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it'd be something you come back to later. Maybe you're in a dark place. Maybe you need to start, and then eventually, maybe 5-8 years later, you come back. And I mean, if you have kids, how do you take your life? I'll never understand that.
See, that's where I'm saying, like, that's where there's no possible way that you could ever rationally describe it, because it doesn't rationally make any sense.
No.
I remember we had I don't know that we meant to have a suicide discussion, but we've had them before on the show. And it's always been, hey, listen, if you ever feel like that, reach out to somebody.
Yeah.
Because you are never not cared for. There is somebody that cares about you. And so whenever somebody gets to that point, it's because they really have dug themselves into such a deep, isolated hole that they lose sight of that.
Well, and what's strange is how in today's world, how young it's happening.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like, how are you? And you know, we could argue social media. You could argue the things they see that on TV, where like everybody puts on this front on a social media campaign, and where this life is so great, and how come I don't have that life? How come I don't have that? How come my parents don't do this, or my friends, whatever, right?
100%.
And it's all a joke. It's 100%. All a facade. It's all whatever. But
it's all fake.
How can you at that young, at 13, 15, because you know, like these kids, we've had kids locally who've hung themselves, who've done all this, and you're like, how do you feel that alone at 15? Like you have your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah.
And really what you do as a juvenile in this weird stage of high school, right? Because high school can be really rough for people. I get it. But it's temporary. Like you can literally move on.
See, and that's when it first happened to me. My first experience with it was in high school. And I remember thinking it's just one of those things where like, there's so much still out in front of you. There's still so much out in front of you that this one hard moment is it's not, I can't emphasize it enough when I say it's not enough to end it over. That's, like I said, you have to be playing with a card short or a few cards short to ever get to that conclusion. Or you are in a position where you've dug yourself into a hole. And again, you have isolated yourself and refused to search out any kind of help. And ever thinking that that's the only way out is like wrong in every regard.
Well, I don't know how you can feel like that. I guess like I'm thankful I can't relate to that, right? Because I don't think there's not. I mean, I get worlds fall apart, life gets destroyed, whether it be by death, divorce, whatever these things are.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, dude, I've been in some. I guess we all have our own baggage, but it's never been to the point where I'm like, it would just be better off if I took my life.
Oh,
and
dude.
That's the hard part, right? Is how do you get to that where you feel that way, especially as a child? Mm-hmm. Like you've got your whole life ahead of you, where arguably, you know, like you just know that, hey, look, I'm going to be fine. I'll turn 18. If it's a home life thing, I turn 18, I can leave. I can graduate high school, I can leave. I never have to look back. I never have to talk to my stepdad, stepmom, maybe my real parents, whatever it is. I can leave.
Yeah.
But like to take your life, I don't know.
So we didn't plan to talk about this, by the way, but did you see that thing that I sent you? It's crazy what Linkin Park just did to us.
I know, because
that was not the direction we were going down. But that thing I sent you from Scott Galloway, he's an NYU professor, and he is really, really, really big, right? And he's been posting this stuff for a long time about like what he calls the masculinity crisis in America. And it's, he is not the bro guy, right? Like I said, he's an NYU professor. This guy is, to me, very smart. Whenever I listen to him talk, I'm like, yeah, this guy's well thought out. One of the things he's talking about right now, and this is a slideshow that I sent you, says boys are falling behind in school, in work and in love, and nobody wants to talk about it. 1 in 3 under 30 has never had a girlfriend.
That I found crazy, but then I was like, oh, you know what? It doesn't surprise me. Because
social media.
I've got daughters, right? That are 18, 17, 18, 16, whatever. And I feel like okay. I feel like my girls are, this is terrible, but it's obviously biased, but I have very beautiful girls, right?
Hey, listen, bro. I agree. Your girls are gorgeous.
They, and it's hard because obviously it sounds biased, but at the same time, you should think your kids are beautiful.
It also sounds weird coming from me over here, but I'm being honest with you. You got very beautiful girls.
My oldest is blonde hair, blue eyed. Like, I mean, it's like and her eyes are bright blue, right?
Bro, and whenever we go anywhere, who's my son Taylor the entire time?
Lexi.
Dude, he is 2 steps behind everywhere she goes.
Yeah, because it's just so, but they don't have a lot of it seems like they haven't had a ton of boyfriends, and it's probably because the guys are just, for lack of better words, and you can bleep this out, but douchebags.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to bleep that out.
That's how they are. Like, they just don't get it. And I think a lot of it has to do with not having fathers in the home or present, right? Or just or they're not teaching their men to be chivalrous or, you'll find one and then you're like, oh, and he may not be the best looking one, but hey, you could be treated really well by a guy that may be an 8. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I think a lot of it also has to do with the fact that the social media of you don't ever actually have real connections. You have fake connections. And then the other thing is porn. Because all the things that you would have wanted to get from a real person, you can get from a screen. And so those are things that it's so incredibly prevalent now. It's unbelievable how easy it is to access that stuff. You don't have to search for it. It finds you.
Well, and that creates such a fake facade of what sex is.
Yeah.
Like if you're a teenage boy and you're like, we've all been there, right? But back in our day, we didn't have phones. I mean, that sucks because everything moves on a screen. It's different when you look at a magazine, right?
We had to search.
Yeah. We had to be imaginative. You know what I'm saying? These kids now not. But then it's like they think this is why you think that's what it's like. That is not what happens in real life. It's just not. No. Like, you need to understand. Yes, there are versions of it, but no. Like, you have this unrealistic idea of what you believe to be sex, and it's not.
And it goes both ways. Yeah. And how the way it ruins girls. To think that this is the way that they're supposed to be. It's like, no, this is, it's always a joke. It's like, man, porn really lied to me. Oh, you think?
Yeah. It's not the same, dude.
Okay. And then I was going to say, and the other thing I was going to say about not having any girlfriends is nobody's really taught how to date. Like, we all hang out. You don't actually learn how to get the balls to go and talk to a girl and have that girl be your focus. Like, you don't do that anymore. You just hang out. And hopefully the night ends with you with somebody instead of, hey, I'm going to go find this person and I'm going to make something happen. Right. I'm going to use some confidence and actually go and pursue a girl.
Well, and when we were in school, right, when you'd hang out with people, like now it's funny because like their kids will come over and hang out. Yeah. And they sit on the couch or they stay in the room and they're on their phone. Yeah. Like, we didn't have that. So you were talking, you were playing, you were doing something. You were egging houses or cars. You were doing something social.
You may not have been doing something good.
You were doing something social.
Yeah.
Where you were out and about, right?
Actually interactive.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy. And then now you sit these kids and they're like, why are we like, what do you just... Like, Allie said this wonderful phase of reading. Okay. Like, I'm not even mad about it. She's reading books, and book reading is, they've linked that to intelligence all the way back, right?
Reading is always good.
Right. So her and her friends are reading, and Lexi makes fun of them for it. But like, Allie will go to her friend's house to sit on the bed, and they will both just sit and read the same book. And it's like a book club, right?
And they probably talk about
of course, right? But it's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's like, I never did that, dude. I mean, we would just not, because you're that is like a way scaled down.
We were playing Halo, we were playing GoldenEye, and then we were like, again, once like the sun went down, it's like, all right, let's get outside. Let's go.
Yeah, we were like, let's go. Like, we're gonna go. Like, dude, this is called ice blocking. Like, like that kind of stuff. Right?
Down a hill.
Yeah, like doing all kinds of weird stuff.
Dude, one of my absolute all-time favorite thing was glow in the dark frisbee, ultimate frisbee. Find an open field, sun is down, lights out, ultimate is the best.
That would be cool.
Oh, it was so fun.
And you're all in black, so like nobody can see you come to grab it.
Bro, we had a lot of broken teeth. Oh yeah, bro. We had some serious injuries. I remember one time my buddy Dallin went up to go get a ball. Right, I'm going to get the frisbee. Guy comes up underneath him, hits him right there. Dallin's 2 front teeth stuck in the guy's skull, gone. Shaved off. Like, he's like, the roots are still there, but they're broken in half. That dude's got 2 teeth stuck in his skull. Dallin came down with the catch, immediately took off. Had to go find some emergency dentist.
And the important thing there, he came down with the
frisbee, did not drop it. Okay, the next thing I was going to say, and this is something that's been known for a while that's very sad. Suicide is the number 1 cause of death for young men over 50 in over 50 countries.
Oh,
you're getting into a bad habit, little Raya. You can't close the door when the air conditioning's on. You're not when you leave the door handle like that. Raya, what are you doing?
She's like,
what are you doing? Sweetheart, answer my question. What are you doing?
Bro, I can't wait till she's 15.
Come here. Okay.
I'm done.
Yeah. Okay, Mama's going to take you back, okay? Thank you for...
Party. She's like, party's over.
Thanks, babe. Number one cause of death for young men in over 50 countries.
What? That's crazy.
That is terrifying. It is because of the isolation. It's the inability to interact. It's I don't have a girlfriend. I don't know how to get a girlfriend. And times a million other things. The other problem is how scary it is economically right now. Boys from fatherless homes are 300% more likely to carry weapons or drugs. Why do you think that is?
Because the dad is not around to tell him no.
Yeah, or to tell him like, hey, listen, carrying a gun doesn't make you a man.
Yeah.
Now, listen, does carrying a man make you not a man? No. But usually...
Does carrying a man make you not a man?
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
I said carrying a gun not make you a man. Carrying a gun make you a man.
You said gun, but you didn't say gun. You said man to man.
My bad.
Carrying a man doesn't make you a man. You're right. It
actually kind of does. I mean,
if you're carrying a bigger man.
Yeah. But like, but no, I mean, the idea that you need to carry a gun to prove your masculinity is like, I mean, that is so incredibly wrong.
It's keyboard warrior in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Like you think you're a tough guy now because you carry a gun.
Yeah, because anybody that comes at you, just shoot them. You got a gun.
Yeah.
Instead of like using any other form of ability to reason, talk to,
de-escalate.
Fewer male teachers, mentors, and role models. So I can tell you exactly why there's fewer male teachers, because you can't at all, as a man, provide for a family as a teacher.
Yeah, especially in Arizona.
Good freaking luck.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody does it.
Yeah,
even two teachers, you're making $90,000 together. You're like, what?
And that doesn't pay for a house. That barely covers rent. Now you're going to talk about food and everything else.
That's below like the median average of needing in Phoenix.
Yeah, because home prices are insane. Rent prices are skyrocketing. Cost of everything else has gone up. So I mean, like that one I get. Now the mentors and role models, I kind of look at it and think that is something that religion does a great job of providing. And there's obviously stories out there where that turned it into the wrong level, like turned into abuse and molestation. That is a minority case that people blow up into a majority case that's not true, which ruins, again, anybody to look to say, well, you know what? That person at church, that's probably a good role model right there.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, oh no, that guy could be a creep. Chances are he's not. That's not a high chance. Is it possible? Yeah. It's also possible to get struck by lightning. Like, I'm not saying that it's the same ratio, but I'm saying is like we blow things like that out of proportion to pretend like it happens all the time when it's like, it happened.
Yeah.
We're not going to sweep it under the rug and say it didn't, but that doesn't mean it happened every single time. As a person who went through Boy Scouts of America and who went through a young men program in a church, guess what? Never once was molested, ever. And have great memories of great men that took their time to mentor me and my friends. Like,
teach me to do boy things.
Yeah. Teach me how to use a knife. Teach me how to use a bow and arrow and a gun. Like, teach me how to camp. Teach me how to cook from a Dutch oven. Teach me how to like start a fire. Like, do stuff that's fun to do and actually is kind of necessary in life.
Yeah, they don't do that much anymore.
No. More boys raised in single mother homes, which is true. And this is, I don't have the statistic in front of me. One of these days, I'll probably have to be prepared for that. But it is a known fact that children raised by just their mother have a harder time in life once mom's gone or even during the time in mom's home. Children raised by just the father, opposite. That's not saying mom's bad. That is not at all the case. That is not at all the case. I don't want anybody to take that number, that statistic or fact and think that I'm saying that, mom doesn't do the job. That's not the truth. Everybody knows that's not the truth. The point is that's how important it is to be a dad that we've just completely swept under the rug and say that's not important at all. Men suck. Toxic masculinity is the worst thing in the world. Men don't know how to take care of kids. It's like, that's not true. Men just do it differently than women.
Yeah.
And young boys specifically need a father to teach them what is right and what is wrong. I can tell you right now, in my own home, my kids listen to me differently than they listen to their mom. That's just a fact. Are you looking that up for
I'm
me?
trying to find some kind of like statistic for it.
Okay. Also, you should look up the one where how much worse are kids percentage wise for any other adult than they are for their mom? I remember this number off my top of my head, but I want to know the source before I say it.
Okay, wait, what was it with that again?
How much worse are kids for any other adult than they are for their mom?
Wait, how much worse are
kids for any other adult other than their mom?
Like, what do you mean? Like attitude wise?
Yeah. Everything wise. Obedience, attitude, cleanliness.
Kids tend to be more reserved around anyone else, but their parents are a safe place. Kids push boundaries and have meltdowns around their parents, blah, 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 because they feel safe. Why children act worse around. Well, there's an awareness act. I mean, I don't know. This depends what article you read, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, psychology explains why children act worse around their mothers. It's from Awareness Act. That's probably what you read.
So I'm looking right here. Okay, well, I said that. Guess what? It's not supported by scientific evidence. So, But the reason why the claim is that kids are 800% worse, by the way, is the number, is because kids are far more comfortable with their mom. They know mom's going to love them no matter what. Doesn't matter, which are good things.
Yeah.
But also kind of a negative sense that they're not worried about mom disciplining them. They're not worried about what mom's going to do if they don't follow commands or listen.
So it says research suggests that children raised by single mothers are more likely to fare worse on a number of dimensions, including school achievement, social and emotional development, health, success in the labor market. And then it goes on to talk a little bit more, but just an interesting thing about, and then it goes into single parenthood, which, I mean, you could argue single parenthood could be a bad thing or a good thing. I think the problem is when you talk about single parenthood, it's one is not active at all. Mm-hmm. I think you can be in a family of like a separated parenthood. And as long as you're both very active in their life and doing things, it's not a big deal. It's when you're not. It's when you talk about single parenthood, it's, hey, mom says, take the kid, dad, I don't never want to see him anymore, or vice versa. And then you have, these issues later in life.
Mm-hmm. That's also very true. That really the activity in a kid's life is the most important thing to talk about.
Well, and just being present, I think, right? It doesn't matter if you're married, baby daddy, whatever you are, baby mama, whatever. Be present with them both. Like, you need to be in a unified front with your children. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, like, I'm sorry if things don't work out when you first have a baby with somebody and you have to but that doesn't mean the kid has to suffer, because at the end of the day, that's the only person who does suffer.
So this is according to Medium.com. Single father households do vastly better than single mothers. And here's the real reason why. And I'm not going to read the whole dang article, but it is on Medium.com. And, it's going to make me pay to read it. So yeah, definitely not going to do that.
Absolutely not. Unless you sponsor us.
Yeah, Medium. Hey, then guess what? I'll throw you lots of shout outs. There are no nationals programs to support male development. I don't really know what he's talking about there. Professor Galloway's going over there, but I mean, yeah, there aren't other than school. I don't know what else to say about that. A digital world that rewards passivity and not growth. That's very true, because you can get whatever you want in a quick 30-second clip. And I'm talking about porn or whatever else.
Anything, yeah.
You don't have to work for
30 seconds.
I'm being realistic here. All right. And then here's the other thing. Let's see. This is what his solution is. He says it's called new masculinity. He's basically saying masculinity is not toxic. It's missing. We don't have it anymore. Being a man means, according to Professor Galloway, providing, protecting, procreating, and what is it you said about what's most important about being a parent?
Presence.
Showing up. Those are things. If you did those things, if you were, again, providing for your family, protecting your family, procreating and creating a family, and then showing up for your kids, like, how much better could life be? If anybody thinks back to like their favorite things, it's their parents were there for them. Like one of my great memories is the fact that my dad rarely, if ever, missed any sporting event I played in. He couldn't be at every single one of them, because guess what? That's a human.
I hate missing him. Like Ava, I missed her. I had a golf thing on Saturday and I played in like a tournament that day, and it was, I got home, but I missed her. I just missed her. She plays flag football, and I don't have boys. So flag football is as good as it's going to get for me, people. Like, that's all I got, right? Mm-hmm. And I felt so bad that I'm actually turning down a job on Friday to make $1,000 because I will miss her game of 40 minutes.
Dude, and that's showing up.
Yeah, I don't care. Like, I'm like, you know what? The money, I can make money anytime. I'll never, like, what was that? The famous line from Iron Man, right? And it's, or maybe the Avengers, and it's phenomenal. It says, no amount of money ever bought a moment of time.
Oh, that's a good line.
And with kids, that is the most truest statement ever.
Oh, dude.
It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter what you're doing to support your family. No amount of money ever bought a moment of time.
That's a fantastic line. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, and it is like, holy crap, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that is like there are not very many things like wording things I would tattoo on my body because I feel like it's just words. But that is like a deep thing that you just, even with everybody, right? Because we get caught up as males in our masculinity and whatnot, providing and doing all this stuff that we feel like we have to do these things, which we do, right? I think it's an internal thing. Most of us feel that way. But what you sacrifice at home is tough. Like when you look back, and it doesn't have to be at home. It's, it's all the I remember I did, and I'm guilty of this, and I'll try not to get emotional about it. But like, I didn't, like when my mom passed away the way she did, it was fast. It was like less than a month, right? I mean, boom, gone.
Yeah. I
regret always not going up to see her more because I was always like, I got to work. No, I have this going on. We have this, and again, I don't get that time back with her that I lost. I don't get you don't get that back anymore. So it sucks. Right. And the same with kids and all that. It ain't worth it. So that's why I'm like, I'm not going to miss flag football anymore. I hate missing things. I just want to be present. I want to be known as, hey, dad was always there. Right. Mom and dad were always there. You see parents all the time it doesn't matter if they're divorced, whatever. They're showing up to watch the kid. That's what it's there for, is the kid.
Yeah. And dude, I'm really sorry that.
What?
Dude, you didn't get emotional. I'm getting emotional over here, dude.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm really sorry that.
There are things that I just not regret, but that you just think about when you just because it's the truth. You get so caught up in life. I mean, I graduated high school. 3 months later, I moved out of the house and never looked back. Never went back. I stayed away from there. I didn't need to live with mom. Didn't need to live with anybody. And I just was always like, oh, I'll go up later. I'll go up next month. No, I'll wait a month. I'll always wait. I'll wait. And then all of a sudden, and then
the time's gone.
And it was because I'm trying to obviously support my family. It wasn't bad, but could I have gone up 100 times more than I did? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did I need to sit and actually make that extra little bit of money where, again, all that money didn't buy an extra moment of time with anybody up there, Yeah. So yeah, it sucks.
Dude, that's, what we said we were going to talk about on this?
I don't even remember.
We're going to talk about the NBA playoffs.
I don't even, dude, it's funny is I can't get the Google Doc to pull up, so I have no idea. It doesn't even show up.
It's, but every once in a while, I would say that we do get a little bit probably deeper than we planned on. And this would definitely be the case. And that's
started it with your little your Linkin Park.
Dude, that's all I did was play Linkin Park. Look where we went. Look where we went by playing a song.
Rabbit hole 29 minutes later.
I'll also say this about one thing about music, right? And again, I don't need to go that is the power of music.
Oh,
that is the power of music. It will can remind you of some things that happened years and years and years and years ago that you completely forgot. And two, like the right song, the right moment, dude, it hits.
It's almost like it's divine intervention sometimes, dude. Right? Like you hear these songs and you're like, I've never heard this before. Or you've heard a song a ton and all of a sudden you listen to it and you're at a moment in space where you're like, holy crap, dude, like that's no joke.
Dude, there's two songs that I'm thinking of right now that had this exact like huge, powerful moment on me. One is a song called Lorraine by Paul Simon. And Paul Simon's my favorite singer-songwriter of all time. And the whole song is about how he fell in love with this woman, Lorraine. They had a great life, weren't able to have kids, and they were a little bit bummed about it. Things got hard, Lorraine left. The guy got super sad, depressed, started like looking at life a little differently. And then one day, Lorraine came home. It was Christmas morning. She came back. Life's great. It's amazing. Only to find out a little while later, she's going to die. She's got some sort of sickness he didn't say in the song. And the whole song is like, there's this really heartbreaking thing where like this poor guy, like was losing the love of his life. Yeah. And just when they think things got better, things got worse type thing. And I remember thinking, I'm like, dude, what if that happened to me? Like I remember I was on a hike and come down the mountain, I'm all by myself, and I'm like starting to tear up. I'm like, dude, what if Slade got sick and died? Like, I'm like, it was just, and this was when it was just her and I.
Yeah.
And the possibility of having kids wasn't looking good for us. And so it was really poignant in my moment in that time of my life. And another one, and I don't remember the name of the song, but it was by Yellow Card. And
Ocean Avenue.
Just kidding. Definitely not. This was a song that was like really, really sad. The first time I heard it, I didn't really recognize it. The second time I heard it, I started really listening to the lyrics. And it was right after we lost our boy. And it's about how the singer's wife either had a miscarriage or something similar to us where they lost a child in utero. And he was talking about how he was never going to be able to watch Star Wars with his son. And he was never going to be able to do this with him. He was never going to be able to do that with him. And it really, dude,
oh yeah,
dude,
I can imagine.
I lost it. I had to pull over. I was driving. I had to pull over and like sit there and just let it all out, man. Cause it was, but that's the power of music, bro.
Songs are powerful, man.
They are.
And you know, the people that write the songs and they're in tune, they're going through something, right? It's like, some things are just crazy. Like you listen to these, like my mom, there's always songs. Grief, I think, is one that really pulls out some strong songs and stuff when you're going through something with grieving in some sense, right? Or hard things in life when you're in a position, when you're just like a dark spot, right? There are some songs that you're just like, dude, I feel every bit of this, right? It's crazy. Sometimes maybe it doesn't last long, but you just in that moment you feel lost or you feel down or you feel whatever. It's like, oh, this song hits so well.
Yeah. That's 100%
music's crazy, man.
So again, that was not the plan. You know what this will be?
Perfect.
This will be the May 7th episode, not April 20th. The one that we'll release that has no specific time that needs to be mattered about when we talked about what we talked about. So I know I started the episode in saying this is April 30th. No, it's actually May 7th. We are recording this for the future because I will be in Florida next week.
Yeah, and I'll be in DC the following week.
Oh, shoot.
I'm going to a work thing it's a national event there. I'm going to be there for a week.
Dude.
Totally flying first class too, bro.
Oh, yeah. Is this like what you did last time?
No, it's similar though. Well, that's the reason why I'm going to DC again, right? But I am not. I've flown first class to the East Coast twice. I don't know if I could ever not fly first class to the East Coast.
Bro, I am flying.
A 2-hour flight, sure.
Dude, I am flying to the East Coast on Sunday with a 3-month-old baby.
Oh, first class, I hope.
On Southwest.
Oh, dude.
You had better believe I am so concerned about how much this is going to suck.
Oh, dude, that is.
It's going to be a rough one, dude. Nope. It is going to be a rough one. Luckily, this is actually a fun trip. It's going to be us, my whole family, taking the kids and everybody, Shale's parents, and Shale's older sister. We're all going to Florida to see the younger sister. We're all going to be on the same flight. So the one thing I'm like, dude, I have many people to pass this baby off to. So it's like, okay, we're going to be good. Right. The baby's going to be taken care of, but at the same time, like, dude, I'm going to be able to hold this baby.
You ever worried about running into a Karen in that situation? Like somebody just a total, see you next Tuesday type?
I worried about that the first time we went with the kids. And this was when Rhea was just over a year old. Okay. I worried about that until I realized we're flying to Orlando, Florida. Who's going to Orlando, Florida? Families.
All families.
Families. And this is when I was holding Rhea. Something happened. I don't know what it was. She started having some sort of weird allergic reaction. She started breaking out in hives all over her back. She was getting really itchy. She wasn't getting fussy, but I was getting worried. And I asked stewards, like, hey, do you guys have Benadryl or something like that? And one lady, like 3 or 4 rows up, do you need Benadryl? Do you have a baby? Popped it out, handed it over. I'm like, okay, you know what? We're going to be all right. We got families on this.
That's cool. See, those are moments you're like, thank goodness people are still human.
Oh, I know, dude. Because for us, like we'd never dealt with any kind of allergy. Since that moment to now, still nothing. Yeah. Like even before, nothing. No one's ever had any allergies. So I have no idea what it was.
Well, it's most people are parents, right? Especially later on. Like, so dude, I'll tell you, like people like a crying baby in a restaurant, I don't hear it. Like it doesn't register. Now there's crying and then there's throwing a fit,
throwing a tantrum.
That's a different story, right? I'm going to choke that child for you. but like a crying little infant crying, I'm like, it does not because and as a parent, you're always like, I'm so sorry. Like I'm sorry.
I get it. I've been there.
I'm like, hey, I'm good. Like I didn't even hear it. In fact, it's soothing. I'm about to fall asleep right now.
The one thing I will say about listen, the kids throwing a tantrum. If the parents are doing nothing, then
well, right.
If the parents are really you can tell that they are trying so, because I've been in this moment where like if my kids throw a tantrum and I'm like, dude, if we were at home, kid, you have no idea what would be happening.
I'm telling you, bro.
In public, I have to watch myself, but dude, if you were at home, guess what's going to happen? Like,
oh, dude, take her to the car. That's what I did.
But that's what I do. I get up, we walk out, and it's usually like I'm trying my hardest not to like stomp out. But, oh, dude, I'm stomping like freaking.
Oh yeah.
I'm freaking Paul Bunyan out of there, dude.
Her in the car seat, shutting the door with the air on, and if I had a cigarette, I would smoke it just to cool myself down, dude.
With that, you know what? Don't breathe.
Breathe.
What a great way to end that one.
The JJ and Pug Show theme song was written, composed, and performed by Lane Hartman. Special thanks to Highland Communities for all the support given to our show. You can find the JJ and Pug Show podcast wherever you do listen to podcasts. Look us up on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Remember to share the show with your friends and family and subscribe wherever you do listen. If you're able to, please feel free to support us by sending a donation to us by going to ko-fi.com/the JJ and Pug Show. That is ko-fi.com/the JJ and Pug Show. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for all the support, whether that is by simply listening, whether that is sharing it with a friend, or giving us that sweet, sweet cash. We truly appreciate it all. Thank you so much.